everybody. Welcome to TV Skywriter. I'm Pat Murray. I'd like to introduce you to people that I think you should know. Now, if you are super old school like me and you only know about games like, we used to call them video games, Pac-Man, Space Invaders, and John Madden football or whatever, the world has drastically changed since then. So let's learn all about it as we talk to Jatovi McDuffie from Bull City Gaming. Hey, it's time for TV Skywriter. Jatovi, how are you?
Pretty good. And what about yourself?
I'm doing great. Now, we met before. Actually, we met on the field, Durham Bulls, because, yeah, that was a while back, a few years ago. But then you started talking about this, what you call esports, what I used to think was called video games. And apparently the entire world has passed me by. So all I know about is the little handheld games. But you told me that this is now like is it multi-million or multi-billion dollar industry?
Multi-billion. The industry itself, it's actually in the next few years, it'll probably turn out to be multi-trillion. I mean, the industry itself is huge. It's been growing for decades. It's not as old as the movie or music industry. It is still in its infancy. However, the video game market or the video game industry itself, which esports is a part of, has really been blossoming since, mid 70s, maybe even early 70s, on through now today. And it's just growing by leaps and bounds. For example, the music and movie industry combined does not gross as much as the video game industry. They dwarf that. I mean, you're looking at $160 billion plus industry that just is growing at least by 40% every single year. So it's nonstop. The esports is just a small sliver of it, because the esports portion, for example, last year or this year, well, actually, I'm sorry, last year or 2019 is when it crossed over $1 billion in revenues. Which once it crossed over that $1 billion mark, made it the number 10 sport across the globe. It has one of the largest fan bases because everybody plays video games. That's the beauty of it, is that anybody can get on and play a video game. You have your giant stars that are bigger than movie stars, but you can play whoever you want to. You can get lucky enough to do that. Wow.
So let's talk about what you do with Bull City Gaming, because when I was actually, where were we? We were, I know, American Tobacco, right?
Yeah. At American Tobacco, right down in front of what used to be the barbecue place that was there. I cannot remember. Sitting right beside Salalia.
Yeah, and you had some games set up, and you were recruiting then for Bull City Gaming. So tell me now what's going on with Bull City Gaming in terms of the players, the sports that you play, and how it all works.
So esports as an industry is, so you can and you can't think of esports as an industry like the NFL, the NBA, the giant, markets like that, because in esports, you have tons of people playing video games. You have tons of people doing tournaments playing video games, or to get people to play video games. So
and actually making money, right?
Well, the tournaments themselves don't really make money. And that's just being honest about it. The tournaments don't make money. It's the advertising part of it. That's where the money part comes into play. So like the reason tournaments don't make really that, basically they break even if they're actually doing okay. The reason they break even is because of the actual costs and everything else. Plus, the developers themselves don't want the tournament organizers to make money off of selling their game.
Okay. I
So
got
if
you.
Fortnite, for example, is one of the biggest tournament games out, or one of the
I've
biggest games
definitely
out
heard of
there.
that.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it has a huge following, but you can't charge people to play in a Fortnite tournament. You can't say, "Hey, I'm running this tournament." You got to charge people to do it. Can't really do it because then you're taking money away from Epic.
I
Doesn't
got
happen.
you. Oh, okay.
So
Okay. I got
so essentially, it's a what I am doing isn't focusing on, hey, let me do a tournament and try and make money because I know it can't really make money. What
you.
I'm
Hmm.
trying to do is bring using esports as a means to an end. There are
Okay.
plenty of things within Durham and Durham itself, the community as a whole,
Hmm.
that can be spotted. For example, urban ministries. Urban ministries does work in the community, trying to feed the homeless and so on and so forth. What I like to do, which I'm trying to convince them into it, but there's some other organizations that I deal with as well. But urban ministries is one that I'm trying to focus on right now.
Hmm.
Is to do a tournament or to do fundraising for them by having people donate to a site and then funnel that money to urban ministries to help feed the homeless. So
Okay.
using the draw of esports to help solve problems within the community. I'm working with one of the organizations that I am working with. Every Wednesday we do a game day. I'm with the Durham Police Department. I've
Hmm.
set up a video game setup where they're using their PAL program, or their Police Athletic League, which
Hmm.
touches base with youth community or at-risk youth in the community, and trying to build a bond between the police and those in the community, which is a
Nice.
great thing. And they use sports to do that. Well, there are a lot of kids that don't play sports, and a lot of those at-risk youth don't play sports,
Hmm.
and some are antisocial. Well, video gaming is it, it breaks down a lot of barriers, and parents don't understand how it breaks down that barrier. We have an antisocial kid, but they will talk all day and go to town, sitting there talking to everybody. But
Absolutely.
I digress with that. But getting back to the PAL program, so
Hmm.
creating a program for kids and officers to talk across talk in a language that the kids understand and that
Hmm.
the adults are trying to understand, and it
Okay.
builds a bond that way. So basically, that's what I'm doing with the esports stuff, is trying to build a community not only in the video game way, but also use that as a vehicle to solve different problems, to create a better place. I mean, that's what we're all supposed to be doing in the first place.
Okay. Okay. I was looking at it the wrong way because I don't know that much, if anything, about esports, but I was hearing that there are people on Twitch, and I know that you do have a Twitch channel. I subscribe to you, Bull City GG. I heard that there's some guy who made like $1 million
That's
on
it's pocket
Twitch.
change. That's pocket change. There are so essentially Twitch. Twitch is your live streaming market, and it's basically your own TV station where you're live on TV all the time. There are
Mm.
tons of people that are on Twitch. I mean, millions of people are on Twitch, and there are a very, very small percentage that make a really good living. And there's a big
Okay, now
investment
where
that you
does the
have to do
money
there.
come from, though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. They're
Um,
sitting there playing the game.
so yeah, so basically you think of it one as a TV show. So you have your own TV show. In that TV show,
Mhm.
you have sponsors. So that's one avenue. That's one monetary avenue. Another
Oh.
monetary avenue is donations. So you have people that donate to your channel that want to keep your channel going. It's just,
Mm.
if you think of it like your Kickstarter or other, hey, I need help doing this. People will donate, and people have done that to many Kickstarter programs and other people to help them solve a problem that they may have. So if you think of it that way, that's what Twitch is, and that's another monetary avenue. Then you have another monetary avenue, where, okay, if I partner with Amazon, if somebody buys something from a link that I place on my site on Amazon, I get
Oh,
money
okay.
from there. That's number 3. Number 4,
Oh, that's affiliate. That's called affiliate links.
you got it. You got your affiliate links.
Mm-hmm.
You have your merchandise. So now, because I'm creating my own brand, I have my own merchandise. I have my own logo. I have my own, these are shirts that I want to create and sell. So that's another
Okay.
avenue. And then, of course, lastly, depending on your subscription base, and this is just for Twitch. Twitch does a subscription based program. So you get $2.50 you get half of whatever subscription basis that somebody gives you. So if I get a subscriber on Twitch, I get half of what they subscribe to or they subscribe with. YouTube does a view look or a view setup. So depending on the amount of views, so if I get 1,000 views, then hey, I get a penny. If I get 2,000, I get a little bit more. So
okay,
there are multiple avenues set up to allow you to create wealth on Twitch and YouTube. Twitch, of course, again, Twitch is your live stream. YouTube is your rerun channel, in a sense. It's your content creation. And that's where I'm gonna create my own skit show, and I'm gonna record it, edit it, and then place it on YouTube. You don't do that on Twitch. You do that on YouTube because, again, views later, and that's how something becomes viral. And then, of course, once it gets a particular amount of views, you get paid for it.
Right. So, I like that.
You get tons. Then you got a Patreon account and everything else. There's tons of ways to make money that way. But again, it's not something that you can just quickly jump into. It takes a long time.
Build it. You have to build it up.
Yes.
And actually, Beverly Mahone is wondering if this works for other businesses beyond gaming. And yes, I've seen people do this on YouTube and Twitch of different business ventures. And you can use the exact same formula and build an audience.
The big thing is, and I had gone to a function with some of the Epic developers, and they talked about how the mindset is in terms of being West Coast and East Coast. So the video game industry itself, this whole esports stuff, like for example, in South Korea, you have gamers that are bigger than your NBA stars here. So when they
I saw some videos,
So they have the billboards, they have the giant marquees in the middle of downtown.
It's amazing.
Not the actors, not the NBA players. And those are what's called, essentially they're called influencers. That's what it all boils down to. And the bigger your base, the more money you can make. And that goes for companies, that goes for anything and everything. Samsung did a deal with one of the biggest influencers, Ninja. So when he was on
the
Super Bowl, and he was in the Super Bowl commercial for Samsung, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
He made a ton of money. You have the same thing with Microsoft. Microsoft had this setup called Mixer, which was a competitor to Twitch. And with Mixer, they paid Ninja. I've got somebody here who came to visit, but, but as a competitor to Mixer, they paid Ninja $1 million to come over and do streaming for Microsoft. Because they knew he had a base or he was an influencer that had a huge base, and that base would follow.
So he left Twitch for Mixer for $1 million.
Oh yeah, I would too. But the thing is, because that's just, again, pocket change to him. But then after Mixer died, he got bid on again. YouTube and Twitch, they'll throw money at you because, again, you have to think of this stuff as just like TV. One of the biggest shows that just came out, WandaVision. WandaVision's on Disney Plus. It has a huge following. People are going crazy over it. Well, WandaVision made Disney millions upon millions of dollars, and any company or any Netflix, Amazon Prime,
Mm-hmm.
Hulu. Well, Hulu's owned by Disney, but all these other companies would have paid millions of dollars just because they had that many followers going on to Disney Plus. You have to think of each
That makes perfectly good sense.
same
Yeah.
exact way. But the thing is, again, that getting back to the East and West Coast mindset and all this other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that we don't see gaming that way on the East Coast in this area. We still
Okay.
see it as, hey, it's a kid in mom and pop's basement, or
Sure.
an adult in mom and pop's basement, been there for too long, playing video games, eating potato chips.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the of the video game industry. The video game market is just unreal, and it touches everything. I mean, from, as you see, I've got the scroll that happens. This is
Mm-hmm.
coming off of a program called OBS. OBS, I can do so many different things, and I can create my own little shows and everything else. Well, these are things
Nice.
that kids are now learning. I mean, from the
Okay.
age of 4 on up, kids are learning OBS and programming for OBS. Well,
Nice.
this stuff, it's how you can
They
make
can create their own jobs
money. You got it.
or hobbies.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, I haven't, when I was into video games, it was way back in the 1980s. The little handheld games.
Yep.
But
The
of
Game
course, I know there's
Boy.
PlayStation and what's the other one? I don't
You
know.
got PlayStation,
Uh,
Xbox, Nintendo Switch, Oculus for the VR, or HTC Vive. Yeah, you got a ton of stuff out there now.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Bull City Gaming, which one do you have to have?
So it's all dependent upon, which tournament I may run. Like my most recent tournament was in Rocket League. Well, actually, it was in Fortnite, but Rocket League, the same thing. It's a cross-platform game, meaning that multiple platforms can run that game, and they can all play each other across the platform. I mean, it's across the network. So a guy on a PlayStation can play against somebody on the Switch. Somebody on the Switch can play against somebody on the computer. But it's all tournament dependent.
Oh, I got you.
You don't really have to have whatever. My big thing is I want kids, and this to the whole reasoning behind building it. One of the building it things is to understand that if you get a computer, the majority of these games you can play on the computer. Gaming consoles are phenomenal. The PS5 just came out. The Xbox Series X and Series S just came out. Phenomenal systems, fun to have. They're $500 really. Yeah, they're $500. But the thing, I mean, that's a ton cheaper than what you can get for a gaming PC. But if you get a decent PC, spend maybe about $1,000, which you're going to spend that if you're going to buy a PlayStation 5 right now to buy from a scalper. But you spend roughly about $1,000, have a parent invest it, and then learn what I just talked about. OBS. You can now program, you create your own business. Now you can do the streaming. Now you can do everything and anything you want to if you have a computer, more so than you can do with a PC, a PlayStation, or an
That makes sense.
And you can play roughly about the same games.
Now Beverly is really hot with the boomer market, and she has a podcast and whatnot. She wants to know if there's a market for gamers over 50.
That's that essential point that I'm that barrier that I'm trying to break down for everybody. To answer the question simply, yes. The reason yes is because anybody can play a game. Okay. That's the beauty of the gaming market, is that anybody and everybody can play. There's a game out there that you could get hooked on. One of my favorite games is Civilization. Civilization doing is building, it teaches a lot about history, and which is cool, but it also is a strategy game. If you think of it like chess, every boomer out there knows about chess. I mean, Bobby Fischer was a god, but now you have to take that same idea games are what chess were to the boomers. It's the same thing. So there's digital chess games that are out there. Candy Crush, one of the games on the phone. You can play on the computer too, but Candy Crush, you can play Candy Crush all day. Words with Friends, you can play an esport with Words with Friends.
Interesting, because Beverly also likes to teach, English, literacy, and that sort of thing. So there's probably games for every topic, just about, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you can find a game for anything, and we have to look at games instead of, hey, go jump back to Fortnite. Hey, Fortnite's got a gun in it and they're shooting people. Well, yes, that is true. However, what does that game offer? Millions of kids are playing this. We're not going to turn millions of kids off playing this. It's just the simple truth. We can live in that idealistic idea that, oh, we're going to have this green game and it's going to take kids away. No, it's not going to happen. Kids, think of it. I like to do a lot of analogies. Think of the movie Footloose. What did people get mad at Footloose? Well, it was a Christian town and these people were doing these crazy dances. They tried to ban them from doing the dances, but they still did it because that was based in reality that happened. I mean, look at when you grow up, I'm 45 now, but when you grow up, look at all the dances that we went through and all the craziness, how parents hated rap. Well, Sugar Hill Gang, Last Poets, and all this other stuff. That was the beginnings of rap. However, your parents didn't get mad at that, but they got mad at Dr. or Eminem, and they look at the wordplay and the poetry. Same thing in the video game market. To get back to the reason it's there's a market for boomers. If you look at your Civilization and your other strategy games, or some of them are called God games, where you're basically able to do everything, but you're setting up everything. So you create a city, you create a town, you create a person, and all this other stuff. And you try and figure out ways to make this person survive, or this city survive, or this civilization thrive. These are
remember those games
you're doing. And then to get to on the English thing, that's a beautiful thing. Role-playing games are one of the best areas for English. Even though there's some other ones that you can deal with, but role-playing games, there's a lot of dialogue that you have to actually read and understand. If you look at games such as Fallout is a post-apocalyptic game. There's a nuclear bomb that happened, and the world, you're about 100 years after this bomb dropped, and you're coming out of this. Well, sorry, not 100. About 70 years after this bomb dropped. And now you're trying to figure out what's outside of this vault, because everybody who was able to survived the vault. Now you come out of the vault, and how is the world then? Now you got it deals with a whole political aspect about people about this sect of people, this vault. Those that were able to somehow survive the nuclear blast or the nuclear reaction or the nuclear contamination across the world, how these individuals. But there's a lot of dialogue that you're reading to understand. And then you've got to figure out, how does this action affect this action? And let me read the dialogue to understand that. And that's all about role-playing games. So
how do you, if you're like me and you really don't know much about it, how do you get started with the modern day video games and esports?
Well, you first have to think video games themselves, and what do you like to, if you like read, okay, well, there are tons of games out there that really focus on reading. I mean, as I just said, role-playing games are some, but there are others out there that are great. From simple strategy games to simple words with friends games. But it's just a matter of just playing. Figure out if you like a movie, like if you like dramas. Okay, well,
is there like a directory? Where do we find these? The same place we get our apps?
So this is why I kind of push the whole PC over the actual gaming consoles, is because you have more options. There are applications called Steam. If you go to steam.com, you can I think it's steam.com. But it's owned by a company called Valve. Valve created a ton of games. Then they got into being a video game marketer, in a sense, or digital market. And so you jump on Steam and you start looking at the games there. There are 4,000 free games on Steam, and you can look at what. So developers will create something, place it on Steam, and people can download it and play it. Some of them are a lot of them are text based, in terms of a lot of text in there that you have to read, but others are just fun titles to even just try. But yeah, that's all it is you just download and play games and figure out what you like. There's a game, and you have to understand, games aren't all. I mean, games are for all ages. There are some that are really that you would say, okay, this is a child's game, but even that child's game you may find entertaining.
Sure.
Some are adult games for some odd reason. You have to think of it like movies. There's a game called Detroit. Have you ever seen the movie or the TV series on HBO called Westworld?
I've heard of it, but no, I haven't seen it.
So, and you understand what the premise of it is, where it's the search. You're basically, the premise of Westworld is it's way into the future. You go to this resort. They're androids that look human, and you can basically live in a world for a vacation that you've never lived in. You can do whatever you want to, dealing with these androids. And the androids themselves are they begin a search for humanity because they don't want to be androids anymore. They believe themselves to be alive. Detroit actually has that similar story, where Detroit, the video game, and it's extremely disturbing and unnerving because the reason being, the premise of the game, you take 3 protagonists and you play each one of them, but each has a different storyline, and they merge it together at later in the game, which is really cool. But you have 3 protagonists each time, and each protagonist is an android.
Okay.
And so as an android,
like the auto industry or anything like that.
Find the auto industry.
Well, Detroit.
No, it has nothing to do with the auto industry. But,
okay.
So each one of those protagonists, as you're one of them, you're the android, and that android is placed in, of course, you are subservient to the human who purchased you. So already you're unnerved, because if you think about it,
yeah.
If you think about our history,
yeah.
So you're already in that. Okay, you're unnerved, and then you have to think about, okay, well, you're placed in these dilemmas, and they are true dilemmas, and they're real life dilemmas. What would you do? And that's what it's asking you. As a machine, or the one law of machines is that machines can't hurt humans, or you're not supposed to build a machine to hurt humans. So as an android being placed in these dilemmas, what do you do? Do you choose to go against in your quest for humanity? Do you choose to go against that? Because the dilemma that you may be placed in, for example, one of the first ones off the bat, and first you're already being purchased, and you go through that experience, and you're already okay. I'm on edge about this game. They push you a little further, because they place you to where you are purchased by a single dad who just lost his wife. He's an alcoholic. He has a daughter who you find out he's abusing. Do you step in? Yeah, so you're and these are like some of the games that you can play if you're not into, for example, a first person shooter or an RPG and stuff like that. This is a thought process game, and you're not having to click all these buttons. You're just having to hit.
And there's probably no really wrong answers.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong. It's just what would you do? And the cool part is they do scenes like a TV series. And so after you finish that whole scene, it goes through and shows your decision tree, and it shows what you chose versus what everybody else chose. And you start to think, okay, well, I could have done this. Maybe I should have done that differently. And again, getting back to the nuts and bolts of video games, it's cool to think that would be, and to touch on the English part, that's an educational tool that we can utilize if we start talking to kids in that manner and understanding, okay, so my child is playing this or my teenager is playing this, even though they shouldn't be, or it may be a little bit too old for him, but he's playing it. Let me talk to him about, okay, let me help him understand what this dilemma could have turned out to be. How does this relate to reality? So
that sounds really good.
The whole, hey, let me teach you about, okay, well, you could go into law for this because you could create your own IP, and hey, let's go ahead and teach you law, and now you can get into litigation and learning how you can.
I know we can do all that.
So yeah, that's the beauty of video games, and that's what we have to think about. I think nowadays, video games are just coming, and we're not stopping it. I mean, like I said, it's $160 billion plus industry. We're not.
What if somebody's watching this and they're already getting pretty good with some of these different games, and they're like, I want to join Bull City Gaming. How good do you have to be, and how do you join?
So my goal, again, my goal with Bull City Gaming, if you're good and you want to join Bull City Gaming, jump on Twitch, jump in, and you'll see down at the bottom of the About section where I got the Discords that you can join. But my whole goal with it, I'm not here to make you an ultimate pro. Not going to happen, because there's no way I can get you there. I can't create an engine. That's just, it's just the way the industry is. I can give you tournaments to keep practicing in and keep playing in, and potentially make some money in. For example, the Rocket League tournament that I just ran had a prize pool of $120. You're not going to make a ton of money, but you're going to make some money.
120.
Yeah, and money's money. It's more than, $60 is more than I had before.
Okay.
So,
well, I do hope that people check you out, especially on Twitch. Now, I want to know what you were playing the other day. I subscribed to your channel on Twitch, and you were playing soccer, but with cars. I loved that. What was that called?
That is Rocket League. Right now, Rocket League.
That's Rocket League.
Yep. Oh. So Rocket League has been out for a few years. It's made by a company called Psionic. Psionic was actually out here in the Raleigh-Durham area. Matter of fact, in Raleigh for a little while. But then they moved out to California. They got purchased just recently by Epic 2 years ago. After the purchase with Epic, they went from being a $20 game to free-to-play game, because free-to-play actually makes a ton of money. If you don't realize that Fortnite itself, which is also owned by Epic, they, in 1 month last year, made $400 million.
Whoa. Okay, wait. So you buy the game or you don't buy it?
Buy the game. So there's...
How do they make money if people are playing it for free?
Easy. And this is where another education comes into play for parents and kids, especially, because there's a whole economic side that you have to deal with. There's free games. Free games are games that you're not purchasing. You download the game, it's yours, nothing to add on to it, unless the developer decides, hey, I want to continue on this pet project, and I'll build something off of it. You have what's called free to play. Free to play means, okay, well, there are purchases, there are potential ads that are added on, but it's free to play. You get to play the game all you want to, or however long I set it for you to play, but you have to possibly purchase something to go further or purchase extra things on the inside of the game. So Fortnite made a ton of money because they are selling what are called skins. The same thing with Rocket League. On the inside
I've heard of that. What is that?
Skins are so you see the curtain in the background. Say I want a different color curtain. I go out, I buy a curtain, I put it up. Now instead of looking at a blue curtain back there, it's orange. That's what a skin is. A skin just is a texture change on the actual character or a texture. So if you have,
they want to make money, don't they?
So basically, if I want a new car or a new color car, then I go out and either I have to earn it after a while, or there's some that are behind kind of like a paywall. And then you have to, hey, I want that car. I don't feel like waiting and doing what's called grinding. Grinding means playing for a long time to try and get enough experience points to be able to get it. But I don't want to grind. I want to go ahead and pay and get that car. Or I want to get that skin because that looks cool. And I like the way that looks. And that's how Fortnite makes a ton of money. That's how a ton of games make a lot of money.
A lot of impulse purchases too.
Yes. I suppose. There are other things in games like free-to-play games called loot boxes. Loot boxes are similar where it's basically and as a matter of fact, it's taken off in the toy industry. So you've heard of the blind bags where basically it's a little bitty bag that you see. Well, it used to be in the baseball card industry. You know how you buy a packet of baseball cards?
Yeah,
You don't know what's in there?
Right.
That's a loot box. And
then you end up trading and all that. Yeah.
That's a loot box. That's exactly what a loot box is. So when kids talk about, okay, well, this, I'm going to buy this loot box in this game, that's all it is they're getting a random set of items in a box that is either a skin, depending on the game, could be an item they can use in that game or just a decoration they could. Like Roblox does it. Well, yeah, Roblox has some items that'll come out here and there. But yeah, it's, hey, I want this random item to put in a room that I'm building or an area that I'm building in Minecraft or something like that. So yeah. Yeah. That's all it is.
So in terms of, video games and esports, do you think most people know about it? The reason I'm asking is because I got the chance to visit Japan way back in the 80s. And I was shocked. We went to a restaurant, and while we waited, we sat in the waiting area and noticed that all the tables were gaming tables. This was at a restaurant. So you could actually eat and play games at the same time. And I just assumed when I got back to the USA that we'd have the same thing. It never happened. So I have a feeling when you were saying how in South Korea they have all these stars that are almost bigger than life, I'm thinking that maybe they introduced gaming to the average person more readily than they did here.
So for example, Korea rebuilt, on a lot of the video games. I mean, you have a lot of technology that comes out of Korea, Japan, and China and all the other areas. So all that is like, it's ingrained. Same thing out west. It's just slowly moving. And a lot of people, when you say esports or when people say esports, they think, okay, well, it can't be a sport. Why do you call it a sport? It's just, again, it's that stigma. So once you put that stigma there, you're not going to learn about it. You're not going to think about it. That's what most people do. And so dropping until people understand and get to realize that esports is really just people playing a video game against each other. That's all it is. It's just like, hey, I'm gonna go play a pickup game of basketball. You understand what that is, but you don't understand I'm gonna go play a pickup game of Rocket League.
Okay.
Or and that's all it is.
So when is your next game? So when we go to Twitch, and of course, we should subscribe to Bull City GG on Twitch so we can keep up with you. So do you have a regular schedule of games, and can anybody join in? Is that how it works?
So yes, and so in terms of like Twitch and everything else, I'm resetting my schedule with that to try and figure out, because this whole the whole situation with the virus and everything, and in-home school stuff
Yeah.
it kind of changed everything. So I've got to reset my schedule.
Okay.
But I still do, of course, Twitch here and there, mainly at night, when I can get a little free time putting everybody to bed. But in terms of tournaments and everything else, that's all scheduled and set in on the Discord channels. So, and that's another thing. Discord is another area that parents need to understand about.
I'm not really familiar with that. So what is that?
It's another form of social media.
Okay.
It is what gamers use. If you're into video games, you know about Discord. If you play video games, you're on Discord. Some channel could be your favorite game that you're on, or your favorite streamer. But basically, Discord is where an individual creates what's called a server. If you think server as an instant messenger, so they create the server. Then they're able to they're organizing that server however they want to, and then they are able to show people what they want to by giving them access. For a lot of the adults or the boomer crowd, think of it like Microsoft Teams, but you can have up to, I think it's 50,000 people on your Microsoft team. So that's what you're creating. You're creating folders for people to be able to access. You give them access to once they join onto your server. You have instant messages that go back and forth, so you can always stay in contact. It's huge if you have a business. Matter of fact, if English, it's huge for. But if you have a business, it's a great way to stay in contact with your customers. Especially if you have employees. If you have employees, it's Microsoft Teams. You have those employees, monitor that. Say if you've got a loan business, hey, let me go to Discord, see if I can get in contact with my customer service rep or find out some information about that loan. Yes, you can go to the website, but I need instant access. Let me go to Discord.
So we need to follow you on Discord as well to find out about the upcoming games.
Yeah, Discord. Yeah, ask questions, to keep in contact, to find out what's going on, to find other individuals. Because what Discord is, again, it's Microsoft Teams, but also it's a community. So if you've got, say 1,000 people on Discord, that's a whole community, and that community can discuss with each other and find out, hey, I like to play Mission to Ziglatone. It's a single player game. It's fun. It's a platformer. It's enjoyable. I love to play that. Hey, this guy here or this one here loves to play it too. So you know what? Let's be friends. Instead of like on Facebook, which is a harder search, or Twitter, which is a harder search as well.
And then Beverly can go on and say, is there anybody in the over 50 group who, what's your favorite game? And look up that way.
Yeah. Or I can help Beverly create an over 50 crowd. Let's play video games. There's over 50. And then you could actually set it to where, again, only people over 50 come into this Discord server. It's a 50 and above crowd.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's what you do. And again, kids these days understand Discord. Kids these days can make money off of, hey, let me go to Michael and Son and create a Michael and Son Discord and begin to advertise your Michael and Discord. I will be the one to set it up for you. A kid can do that and make money.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's really incredible.
That's the game market. And pigeonhole. And again, it gets back to, we have to get out of the stigma about the game and hearing esports. Instead of hearing esports, we can try and hear the video game industry. And I think that could broaden the mindset of those that aren't into the whole esports scene or understand what exactly esports is. If you think about the video game industry, I mean, it's huge. It's very huge. For example,
Well,
Discord
I'm
got
looking
a
forward to
$40
learning.
million investment, I think. No, $30 million investment.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm willing to learn more. And if there's a way for, well, I'm just going to keep up with you on Twitch and also figure out this Discord thing. And I just want to continue to keep up with you because I have a sports page in the Durham Skywriter. Why shouldn't I be writing about esports and promoting Bull City Gaming, right?
Yeah.
I need to be doing that. So we need to talk more often.
Definitely. I'm going to help you set up that Discord.
Okay, yeah. I'll probably need help with that. So, Jatovi, thank you so much. Did you have any shout outs for anyone before we go?
Shout outs to anyone. I don't want to single anybody out, so I'll shout out to everybody, especially Miss Beverly, who came in to join.
Awesome. Thanks again, Jatovi. Super fun. Again, let's stay in touch because I want to promote Bull City Gaming for sure and learn more about this.
All right. Thank you. Definitely. We will definitely stay in touch.
Okay. Well, take care.
All right. You too.
Okay. See you.
Bye.
Super fun. Boy, I learned a lot. So you know what to do. Follow Bull City Gaming on Twitch, Discord. They also have a Facebook page as well. So with that, I didn't ask if they're on YouTube. Probably, though. I did see the YouTube logo. Yes. So anyway, you have a beautiful day or evening, whatever time it is right now for you. And I will see you later. Don't forget to read the Durham Skywriter. That's Durham, North Carolina's online community paper. And also a Bull City Hangout that's just about every day on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope/Twitter. See you there. Ciao for now.